Our international affairs editor, Philip Turle, has been listening in on that press conference for us. So, Philip, tell us more then about what the Prime Minister has said so far. He's really been clarifying Macron's announcement, hasn't he?
Yeah, so if you watched Emmanuel Macron on French television last night and you didn't quite understand what he was saying about the different measures, this was another session to help you do that and to clarify some of the questions that people have been asking about what exactly the government wants people to do. The underlying fact here, Claire, is that these measures are really the last ones that can be brought in France before we see a new national lockdown. We've been made to wear masks in all public places, even at work. And as you said, that bars and cafes and restaurants in certain areas of the country have been forced to close. So this curfew is the last thing that the government can do before it brings in a national lockdown to try to stamp out the rise in the infection rate. Now, what the Prime Minister was keen to stress today is that this measure is being brought in because the infection rate has soared during the first 2 weeks of October, and the government has got to do something to bring it down to stop the amount of hospital beds being taken over by COVID patients, from squeezing out those who have other illnesses and who may not be able to get treatment. And what the government wants to do is to stop people from organising parties at home and gatherings that they don't have any control over, because they say that private parties where people are together, where they're drinking alcohol, where they don't wear masks, are one of the ways in which the virus is being easily transmitted in France, and they have to stop that because that is keeping the spike up on the infection rate. And they're also trying to clamp down on student parties as well. And the only way they can do that, because the French police don't have the right to go into people's private homes to stop them from gathering, the only way they can do that is to bring in a curfew from 9 p.m. in the evening to stop people from going out, and therefore they can't go to visit each other.
Philip, there's increasing criticism of the government's handling of the pandemic, plus, as we've been reporting, homes of ministers and ex-ministers searched today. Have the measures satisfied the most critical?
No, I don't think so. I think that if you listen to restaurant owners, cafe owners, hotel owners in France, they're basically saying that they have been the scapegoat to all of this. They are paying for government incompetence in dealing with this pandemic earlier this year, and also the government's inability to introduce the right measures to stop the spread of the pandemic. They say they've already been forced into nearly a 2.5-month lockdown earlier this year. Now, in several cities around the country, they've been prevented from opening. And this is like, if you like, the final straw that's going to put many people out of business. The government, Jean Castex, in just the past hour, has announced a whole lot of financial bonuses and packages in a way of trying to pacify this anger amongst the tourist sector in France, which has been hardest hit by the pandemic. But I think it will do little to relieve those businesses that have seen a fall in their business of between 50 and 80%, sometimes even 90% in the last year.
Thank you very much, Philip.